Okay.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Dhamma for Life programs of Wat Dhamma Rama in Washington, and also welcome everybody in Canada, Vancouver, Wat Putta Panya Nantaram in Vancouver, Canada, and good evening, everybody in Thailand. Welcome to the program of Dhamma for Life that we always come to discuss the Dhamma for life every Saturday morning in USA and evening time in Thailand. Sorry that we skipped last Saturday because of I got some errand to lead the meditation during the night time and also in the morning time. So there were two classes continuously, and I have to apologize for skipping last Saturday program. Anyway, today we come back to continue our Dhamma for Life, and the topic that I have brought and prepared today is about the foundation of a good life. How to gain, how to construct the foundation, just like when you want to build your own house, the basement or the foundations have to be strong enough to support the building, or as compared to a life, it's the same thing. If the foundation is strong, the building will be strong. And if the foundation of life is strong, the life will be strong. The strength in the Buddhism does not mean the strong life only, but the strength in Buddhism means the life that can be succeed to the highest goal or the value of life. That is the Nibbana, and the highest goal, and the good foundations leading to the accomplishment of life. And of course, I'm talking about the four foundations of the mindfulness. As far as our life is composed of two components, that is the body and the mind, or in Pali we call it rupa and nama. And when we classify in Buddhism, we refer to the five khandhas. That is the rupa, the physical body, and the vedana, the feeling, and sanya, that is the perception, sankhara, that is the mental formation, and the vinyana, that is the consciousness. So these are the classification, or what we call it five khandhas, or the five aggregates, after we break down the rupa and nama, or the body and mind. But once we classify into the foundation of our life, it has been classified into four foundations. According to Mahasatipatthana Sutra in Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddhist scriptures, the Buddha mentioned about the 4 foundations of the mindfulness. That means if we want to have a good life, happy life, the successfulness of the life, or the strength of life, one have to construct the 4 foundations of life. And that is referred to the physical body. And that is, in Pali, we call it rupa. The second foundation that has to be constructed strongly, that is the vedana, or the feeling, that once we come into contact with something, we have a feeling of happiness or unhappiness or neutral. And then the third foundation that we have to consider or contemplate, we have to keep eyes on it all the time. That is our own mind. And that is citta. We have to do some research on our own mind, the qualities of the mind. And the last one, the last component or the last foundation is most important component is the Dhamma, the true natures, the teaching of the Buddha that refer to many things, but we don't have to contemplate all. Pick one that we study, pick one that we are familiar with. We will go into the detail today, this morning, one by one. So let's talk about the first foundation, which is the rupa, or the physical body. We have to always put our own mind, or we call the mindfully, or the mindfulness, into the body in whatever action we are performing. See how the body is functioning. And see how the body change along with what we are doing. We focus in what we're doing. And that's how we know in detail of our physical body. We can come to realize when we come closer and closer, we can do some research. We can finally investigate what's going on in our life. And the Buddha suggested the breath. See how the Buddha recommended the anapanasati. The breathing meditation, that if one practice, will know what change. the process of the breathing meditation will disclose, will open up the truth about the physical body, how the body works. Not only when we performing the duty or daily duty or routine function of your life, when you go to work, the Buddha said it will be the same thing when you are meditation. When you do meditation, you will see, even in the meditation, you see more detail about what's going on in your physical body. You will come to see when you contemplate your own breath, whether it's hot or whether it's cold, whether it's really light or it's really heavy, whether it's really thick or it's really thin. When you do the meditation, the mindfulness meditation on your physical body by using the breath in and out, the point that you can always check whether your mind fully focusing on the breath is the nostril, the chest, and the diaphragm or belly. There are 3 checkpoints that you can always catch your own breath. When you can catch your own breath, that's how you can check whether it's impermanent or permanent, whether it take you or bring you, lead you to the suffering, mean unhappy or happy. Does it make you satisfied or unsatisfied? Whether you can control it or you cannot control it. And that's how you see the truth of your physical body. It's not only you can contemplate in the meditation, but in your routine life, you always can check that. You can investigate that as well. And you will see that your body, your physical body is impermanent in each single moment. It's always changing in the form of aging. And you will see that it's always leading to the suffering. Even though you want to control that you don't want to be older. You don't want to be unhappy, but it's always leading to the unhappiness. These are the truth, the true natures of our physical body. It's not only me, you, but everyone who were born have to experience this truth. That is referred to the 3 characteristics of all existence, or the 3 natures of all existence. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. This is the true natures of all existence, including our physical body. And that's how we can contemplate, not only in the meditation, the mindfulness meditation, but always you can put this meditation in your routine life. or you can try as your workshop if you want to touch or taste on the four foundation of the mindfulness meditation. You're going to be realize that your breath sometimes is hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's very tight, sometimes it's very loosened, sometimes it's very heavy, and sometimes it's very, very light. And that is the same thing with this physical body. The more you are still, the more that your body, physical body, is stable during the meditation, the more you can see clearly about the truth of our physical body. You can hear even the sounds of your physical body, for example, the congestion, the combustion of the physical body inside the body. That is about the Kaya Sankhara, or the physical formation. You come to realize that the body is always changing all the time. It never remains the same. And it seems to be that we go in the same direction, the direction of death, direction of aging. And actually that is the direction of change. The uncertainty, instability, or what we call it, impermanent nature of all existence, including the physical body, and that is anicca. The uncertainty nature of all existence. And it seems to be unexpectable. Even though we try really hard to forecast, I don't want to be old. I don't want to be sick. I want to be strong. But the truth is never. We try to approach the peak of our life. But actually we cannot, because there is a law of nature that controlling and try to keep this truth for everybody, not only the human being, but everyone and everything. Because everything is a composed thing. It's a conventional, it's a condition, or what we call it, sankhara, or the fabrication, the formation. Anything that is formed, that thing will be changed. Anything that has been fabricated, the same thing will be changed. They never remain the same. It never lasts long. And the more we try to keep it unchanged, the more we will be suffer. And that is actually the meaning of Dhamma Dhamma Patibata. We have to practice the Dhamma along the nature. We have to follow the nature. We have to follow the law of the nature. The more that we try to against the law of the nature, that is how we getting more and more suffer. So this is regarding the physical contemplation, the physical body contemplation, which is if we can contemplate every day in our routine life, whatever you're doing, performing, you mindfully watch out your action. But if you have a time, you can sit down and do the mindfulness meditation of your physical body by using the breath as the agent of the meditation, or we call it the mental object, to do research, to investigate what the truth is about, what is the truth of your physical body. And that's how your physical body gets strong, become the first foundation that can support a life. And it's when the life gets support by the foundation, good strong foundation, that's how our life gets stronger and reach out to the destination. And then we can, when we really realize the truth, when we comprehensively understanding the nature of the physical body, then we can do some research, more research about our feeling. Or we call Vedana in Pali. So when we come to the Vedana, the Buddha mentioned that there are 3 different kinds. The Buddha classifies the Vedana, sometimes 3, sometimes 5. But to be easily understanding, we can refer to the 3 feelings, 3 different kinds of feeling or Vedana. That is the happiness, and unhappiness, and then the neutral. And if we keep contemplate about the Vedana or the feeling, we will see that we will come to the truth again, that our feeling is always changing. It's never permanent. It's always uncertain. Sometimes your feelings up, sometimes it's down. Liking, disliking, that's leading to happiness and unhappiness. When you like something, leading to the happiness. When you disliking something, that will lead to the unhappiness. Or even sometimes you are just neutral, not happy and not unhappy. Dukkha sukha vedana. even the neutrality, the neutral feeling is always changing. It never remains the same. Nothing is really stable. Everything is unstable. The Vedana is really important piece of the Dhamma that if one can keep contemplating all the time, you will see that really the true natures of your mind. During the Buddha, during the Buddha period, one of the greatest disciples, that is Sariputta, he is the one who get accomplished or enlightened with the Vedana when he was listening to the Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha, to his nephew, Tikha Manok. And he got enlightened because of the Vedana, because of the feeling. He could cut off the link of the Vedana from the Paticca Samuttabhata, or the dependent origination that begin with the avisha and end up with the suffering. But along the way, he found that he could cut off the Vedana. That must be, if you cut off the link of the Vedana, that will not be leading to the suffering, not leading to the upata, the attachment. Of course, when you don't have Vedana, then you don't have the tanha or the craving. And that's how the Sariputta found out that, okay, this is the point where I can begin to eliminate the suffering. The same way when we sit down and do mindfulness meditation, the four foundations of the mindfulness meditation, we can contemplate the Vedana or the feeling that is always rising and falling all the time. When we hear the sound, when we smell the odor, when we taste with the tongue, or even when we think of something during the meditation, and that leading to the Vedana, the contact, the phassa.
มีธรรมนำใจให้สุขสันต์จงคิดดีทำดีทุกวัน
And that's how we can investigate the true nature of our feeling, the Vedana. And it's always actually, whether it begin with the happy or unhappy, it's always leading to the suffering. And we cannot control it. The only thing that we have to do in order to stop it from leading to the suffering is to eliminate the feeling by understanding that it's always changing. We can feel, we always feel. We always sense, but we can, once we understand the true nature, comprehensively, we can begin to restrain or refrain the feeling after the contemplation in the mindfulness, four foundation of the mindfulness meditation. Because we understood that, because we understand now that if we let the feeling go along all the time, the feeling will go up and down, rising and falling all the time, and that's how we rotate ourselves in the ocean of the samsara, or the ocean of the suffering. That's what the Buddha mentioned. So now we become less or more understand after contemplation of the feeling or the vedana during the four foundations mindfulness meditation. And we can do the same during what we are doing in the daily work, in the routine life. We must look over instead of overlooking that what we are doing, what we are feeling, what we are thinking, what we are hearing, to apply the mindfulness in each and every single action of our life. And that's how we will be safe. We will stay out of the danger area because of the mindfulness on the four foundation, that is the physical body, feeling, the mind, and the Dhamma. And now we can move on to the contemplation of the mind self. We can check the list whether our mind is having a greedy, whether our mind is having or anger, whether our mind is having a delusion, that is Lopa, Dosa, and Moha. These are the three qualities of the mind that leading to the suffering. We call it defilements, the mental defilements, or the kilesa. It's the mental factors, or we call it cetasika. And that you can check where is your mind, because the mind is a non-form, it's an abstract, it's a non-form that has no shape, is unseen. But we can check the activities through the process of the meditation, or the mindfulness meditation on four foundation of life. In the moment of the meditation, whether you can check whether your mind is wanting or unwanting, that is referred to the Lopa. Whether your mind is in anger or not angry. Whether your mind having a doubt or undoubt, mean moha or amoha. Not only these three mental defilements that we can check, we can also check whether our mind is stable or unstable. We can always investigate whether our mind is pure or impure, whether our mind is active or unactive. The Buddha mentioned that check about the three qualities: samahito, parisutto, and kamaniyo. These three qualities of the mind that we can contemplate on during the mindfulness meditation on four foundations, it will, if we have such a qualities, the good qualities can energize not only the meditation process but life. Our life we gain more power, gain more energy up to the successful life, because of we always keep our mind or mindfulness, apply the mindfulness into whenever you do an action, performing any kind of action. You always check your physical action, check the feeling, check on your mind, your mentality, the quality of your mentalities that we always can put into the list and then check. Once we understood, once we already investigated and then we found out the qualities of our own mind, how they are, how it is, we will understand that these are really fall under the true natures of all existence again and again, over and over. That is the impermanent, the instability of the mind that always come and go, there's always rising and falling. And finally, it's leading to the suffering. It's always subjected to the suffering. That is one point to be considered. And the more that we want to control, it seems to be the more that we suffer. Because it has the non-self or anatta nature. The uncontrollability of all existence, that is because of anatta nature. So after investigation, after the contemplation of the mind itself, now we can move forward to contemplate about the Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha, the natures. We contemplate everything is fall under the true natures, anicca lakkhana, the impermanent characteristics of all existence. That is the key. during the mindfulness meditation on the four foundation, we will see everything is fall into the truth, under the truth of impermanent. We can realize the suffering. We can realize after investigation of the cause of the suffering, we can touch the end of the suffering through the process of the mindfulness meditation. And then we can cultivate the way or the tools, the way how to end the suffering. And that refers to the Four Noble Truths of the Buddha, the greatest Dhamma in Buddhism. Resulting in disenchanting because of we understood comprehensively the true natures of all existence, that everything is unstable, so it's never be safe. Our life is actually in danger, and it's unexpectable. We don't know that when we're going to be ill, when we're going to be die. That is really unexpectable. You cannot expect, you cannot trust, because everything is unstable. And that is because everything is sankhara, because everything is conditioned, whether it's a physical or mental. Physical formation or mental formations, all they are formations, because it is conditioned or the conventional, and that's why it's unexpected, and that's why it's unstable. And that's why we cannot trust things around. We are actually in danger in each single moment. So we can't trust. So when we keep contemplating day by day, practice more the four foundation of the mindfulness meditation, you become realize the true nature of our life. And that's how the foundation of life getting stronger and stronger, because of the mindfulness that we keep practicing on the physical body, on the mind. So you become really aware of things that's happening around. So the more that you practice, the more that you keep investigating, the more you become understanding the true nature of your life. you become, your life become really awareness, mindfulness and awareness. And this is the Buddha called a full life. The fullness of life. And actually, it can be considered as the balance of life. So when you come to understand the true natures, that everything is fall under the three characteristics, that is anicca, dukkha, and anatta, the impermanent, the suffering, and the non-self natures of all existence. That will lead the one who practice, the one who investigate, to be disenchanted, or we call nibbita. But before, long before, we never do investigation, we never do the mindfulness meditation. We will enjoy our life. We call it nanti. But once we come and do the meditation, we come and contemplate the life, the rupa and nama. There's a sensation of disenchant or nibbita. And as a result of you seeing the truth, you experiencing the truth in front of you during the mindfulness meditation on the four foundation. So we are crossing from nanti to nibbita. When you contemplate the four foundations of our life. the vimutti, a sense of liberation. And that's how we get ourselves free from the suffering. The freedom, we call it santi, or the peace. And the Buddha referred to the Santibhata, or ในภาษาไทยเราเรียกว่าสันติบท and not only contemplation of the Four Noble Truths, but you can always contemplate on any nature, on any teaching of the Buddha, any piece of the Dhamma. For example, the dependent origination, or the 7 factor of enlightenment. For example, that is the Pochana, or ในภาษาไทยเราเรียกโพชฌงค์ the 7 factors of enlightenment. So this is how we construct the foundation, the strong foundations of our life, through the process of the mindfulness meditation, or satipatthana. If you want to go in detail regarding the process, you can open up study from the Tripitaka or the Buddhist scripture, either from Google or from the physical book, and open up to the Mahasatipatthana Sutra or Anapanasati Sutra. That is in Majjhima Nikaya of the Buddhist scripture. And actually there are so many places that the Buddha mentioned, or Ananta mentioned in the Buddhist scripture or Tripitaka. Also appear in the Parinibbana Sutra, which is a really long sutra. Also the Buddha mentioned of Anapanasati when he was in the last period of the Buddha life. He never forget to mention the Anapanasati or Mahasatipatthana Sutra. So these are the process, or the constructive process of having a strong foundation, a basement of building strong. A foundation of life is getting strong through the 4 foundation mindfulness meditation, the 4 foundation of the mindfulness meditation practice. And then once you understand how the physical body is, how the feeling is, how the mind is, what is the Dhamma that you need is, then you can apply this constructive idea into your routine life. And we can have our life more safe to live, to practice the higher and higher Dhamma of the Buddha. So this is the greatest advantage of the mindfulness meditation. 4 foundation of the mindfulness meditation. or Satipatthana, and this is only taught in the Buddhism. So we are really fortunate that we have the Buddhism as a religion that we can implement the teaching of the Buddha or the Dhamma in our routine life. And it's going to become more benefit when we sit down and do a full foundation of mindfulness meditation. We can enlighten, we can gain the wisdom, and we can gain more and more mindfulness as a tool to make our life safe. So the mindfulness meditation is the way to gain the safety of our life. So if we want to talk about the safety of life, I really highly recommend study about the mindfulness meditation, and then sit down and practice the four foundations of the mindfulness meditation. And that is about the topic today that I have brought to you, and I hope that my talk today will give you some answer, less or more, giving you some guidance regarding the meditation or regarding the mindfulness of your routine life. And we'll come back with a new topic in next Saturday morning. And having a great day. I will pass this back to Ajahn Chawatchai. Thank you very much for watching this program.